One tree fell in the wrong direction.
1, 2, 3, let's go!
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Green Witch Homestead. Today we're just going to do a quick walk around. It is Christmas Day. I hope everybody's having a wonderful one. As you can tell, for us it is almost 70 degrees out here. It's a very strange Christmas. I kind of miss the snow, but I will take the nice weather. So one nice thing about weather like this is that our chickens are laying again quite strongly, which is wonderful. And everybody's come out of molt, so they all look beautiful again. I'm sure they're going to go back into molt just in time for spring sales. When you go to try and sell some chickens, they all look horrible and ugly. The show kitchen garden is pretty much a mess right now. Everything is done. The beds are waiting to be revamped with soil. You can see on this bed here, what I'm doing is I'm extending the beds out, so I've already taken the piece off of that one, and then we'll top them off with their compost and stuff like that. We are also finally getting started on clearing back where the rabbits used to be. This is where we're putting our victory gardens. We're going to show that in a second, but first let's take a look inside the greenhouse. These last couple days have been sunny and above 55. In fact, actually I think yesterday it got all the way up to 76. Today we just crested 70 and it's not even noon yet. So I've had the greenhouse doors open a little bit, but it's so nice in here. It's very, very humid and everything's growing amazingly. Over on this side, got my calendula, which I've been picking flowers off of and drying. And then all of my turnips are filling out nicely. They'll have to get thinned one more time. This is the kohlrabi. It's doing real good. It's gonna have to be thinned here pretty soon. And then a nice little lettuce patch here. Onion seedlings are almost ready to be split out and put in their normal spots. And then I've got some kale growing in there as well. My artichokes, they've slowed down growing for the winter and they're thickening out a bit, which is nice. They look like they're real healthy though. I've got some plug lettuce that I pulled out of the lettuce beds and moved over here to kind of let them head up. I just did that a couple hours ago, that's why they look kind of wilty. And my little Brussels sprout spots, I'm going to have to start splitting them up. I've got a few that are growing good. The Brussels sprouts, I grew them in little clusters because the seeds are so small, but what I'm going to do with them, once I have 3 or 4 that are a good established plant, I'm going to pull out the ones that I like and plant them a little sparser so they can grow. So we got some more kohlrabi over here. And then down over there, I've got a row of fennel, a row of cilantro, and then my cut and come again lettuce. We've already had a couple cuttings out of it. I like doing that in the winter time with the lettuce, planting it really tightly like that, because with the shorter days and the colder temperatures, it doesn't grow as fast. And when you grow it this way, you can get a nice little harvest of lettuce. You can just come through and you cut it to about this short, and it'll keep growing. In the spring and in the fall, I will do my lettuce in individual spacings to form a head. If you remember, I amended these beds with a combination of dry chicken bedding from our coop and rabbit manure. I am going to go ahead probably in a week or so, give them a little bit of fish emulsion in their watering because the leaves are looking a little yellow. More than likely, it's just from not having long enough days. If you remember a couple videos ago, we talked about starting the victory garden and we are going through that process. Now, obviously it is winter time, so there's not much being done, but we did show the space that we're going to be putting our victory garden up here along the roadside as a kind of showpiece, as well as our kitchen garden. We used to have the rabbits up here, and right now we're working on clearing everything out. We've got most of this space cleared. We have to move this framework a little bit, and we're starting to trim up the tree line. But let's show you what's going on the other side of our water tank. The water tank is right there, and the rabbits were in this space here. We got our road front property here. One of the things that we have, and we've had for a little while now in storage, is a greenhouse. It's a 10 foot by 12 foot by 12 foot greenhouse, and we've just been waiting for that perfect spot opportunity to put it up. So now that we've moved the rabbits and we're putting the victory garden in where the rabbits were, we're going to turn this whole road front section into a sort of showpiece, customer attraction area. So we're going to have the greenhouse, we're going to have the victory garden, which will be an in-ground show garden, and then we have the raised bed kitchen garden. And those will all show how we garden as well as what we have available to sell from our market gardens down in the main field. As you can see, we're clearing. We've done quite a bit already. He's cut most of the branches off these trees. We're discussing whether or not we're going to pull them off. I think we've decided we're just going to top along the fence line to just kind of maintain the fence as of right now, because it is a very old barbed wire fence and we don't really have the means to replace it, and I definitely don't want to go fenceless. So we're just going to keep the trees there, and it'll require maintenance over time. We're going to have to come back and trim it and stuff like that. That's not too difficult to do. Now, I'm sure some of you have seen this structure in the background of some of my shots and videos, and you may be curious as to what it is. So we have on our property right now, this is a shed to house that a friend of ours did. Now they have recently moved into their actual house now, and this is vacant. We are discussing whether or not they're going to move this onto their property for their teenage son, or if we're going to take over and fix it up here. Either way, there is going to be a shed to house here that's going to be part of this little setup that we have going. We'll probably move into it to get out of the bigger house once it's finished, but eventually it's going to wind up being a storefront of some kind. So the main purpose of this property when we're finished, at least our goal, is to have this be our money maker. This will be where we sell our goods, my soaps and lotions, his metalworking and his brother's woodworking, and all of our garden and vegetable stuff. That's the plan. So this is our market garden that we grew in last year. If you remember what it looked like a couple weeks ago, the pigs are an amazing thing. So we had them in here for about 3 weeks, and as you can clearly see the fence line, they've done their job. They've added some fertilizer. Yes, they've packed the soil down just a smidge, but we'll go through and broad fork it to loosen it all back up before we cover it and start planting in it. I do want to add my chickens in here for the rest of the winter. Main reason they're not in here yet is because we're waiting on a Premier One fencing for them. I am too far away from where we actually live and where human activity is regular to have my chickens down here safely without some type of predator control. My birds are free range. They're gonna probably be a little upset about being put in a fence. But once they realize that they have this whole garden area to scratch through and have lots of bugs and food and things, they should be fine and they should settle down. I may have to clip wings to keep them from trying to fly over the fencing. This was our garden bed last year, and again, because of working with the pigs, we had turned a space that looked like this into this. Effectively doubled our gardening space down here. This is the new garden bed. I'm going to line it with something, either some cedar posts from the trees we're clearing or bricks, because we have a lot of those. And then this is going to be an in-ground row garden for smaller crops, which actually should be going into the ground here pretty soon. Things like radishes and cabbages and all that cold stuff. And then we'll be back into the swing of market season. The pigs are back with Mom. We did get her dried off while they were gone, so that's fine. We did put them all back in here for the winter time. The eventual goal is to widen their space and give them free reign of all of the oak that we have growing back there. But as it is right now, you know, things take time. Projects move a little slowly when everything costs more than it normally has. The eventual plan with the pigs is to have them in most of this area that's tall grass right now, and then back in that woods. That'll be a permanent fence structure with individual sections that we can move around, rotate them through it. Just taking projects one day at a time. We've got a lot of ideas and things are moving at a little bit slower pace than I'd like, but with all of the issues that we're facing around the country right now because of certain situations, it's understandable. So now that I am officially filthy, let's show you some progress shots. Now, our sidewalk stairs are there. And then this is what we've done so far. So this is where the rabbits were. And as you can see, it's a big pile of trees right now. But we've got it all cleared out on the fence line now. You can see how they're all cut down. This pile is going to get burnt here and be added in, so we have some wood ash going onto this area that's got all the rabbit manure. So that's going to be a nice fertile soil bed. We had one tree fell in the wrong direction, which is why I don't film when we're cutting trees, because it's really a two-person job. So one of us cannot be distracted holding the camera. But nobody got hurt, fortunately, and the water tower is not damaged at all. It's got a nice solid steel frame around it, so that's good. But yes, when cutting trees, make sure you're being super, super safe, and make sure that you have plenty of escape routes when that tree starts coming down. A little hard to tell. This is about the halfway point, but you can kind of tell it's much more open. We got to move that table out for now so we can get this tree chopped up and down and out of the way. And then this big oak tree that's right here is staying. That one's across the street, so I'm not worried about it. And then everything else is being burnt on this pile. The greenhouse is going to go right in here. And if you're curious, behind me is north, so I am facing south right now. So that's why we're putting it here, and it'll mostly south-facing sun in the wintertime. That's going to wrap it up for today because the sun's going down and I can't film anymore. And at this point in time, it's basically just waiting for piles of wood to burn. It's progress, a lot of progress, and this is the perfect time to do it. I'm so glad that we got this day of crazy warm weather and we were able to get out here, get the majority of this project underway. But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming along on this journey. I hope that you follow along with the rest of our videos. If you want to stay up to date with how we're moving through and watch all the projects as they progress, make sure to subscribe and hit the little bell to get notifications whenever we upload. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps with the algorithm to help get my videos out there for more people. Whether you celebrate Christmas or Yule or Kwanzaa or Ramadan or whatever that you celebrate this time of year, I hope you're enjoying a beautiful time with family and friends. And remember, guys, get your hands dirty.